Hello everyone, and welcome to round 8 of the All Team My Schumi career mode. Round 8 then is around Montreal in Canada, as we are using the shortened 16 race season for this one. We're sort of trying to emulate the 1991 season where there were 16 rounds. We're also in the reborn Benetton team. And of course, All Schumi, we've got Michael Schumacher as ourselves, the lead driver, and we've got Mick Schumacher, our son, as the second driver. Now, what has changed since the last race then? Well, we had new secondary sponsors. You can see here we've chosen one of them is the top 12 finish sponsor, so we need to make sure we're trying to be in the top 12 of every single race, which we have managed to do the last few races. We also had a little durability upgrade, but actually all it does is give us some more resource points. So hopefully we should have some more consistent resource points coming in to help us do the upgrades. Other than that, not a lot really happened, to be honest. I mean, we have had a major update that was finalized over the previous race weekend, which is why it's not in front of you. That was a major drag reduction update. And you saw there just had another couple of little minor updates, but nothing other major. But that should help us around Canada. It is very much a sort of high-speed circuit, really, I guess. It's a very drag engine power dominated circuit. And that is what it's done to our performance. So we are now actually back to being the second slowest team. Haas have had a nice big update for them, and we've just slipped behind them again, but it's so close to that. Look, Renault, Alfa Romeo and McLaren all very, very close in front of us. So pretty close stuff in the midfield. Let's jump straight into quali then. So you can see this is the last lap in our qualifying session. We are in P13 at the moment. So we've actually had quite a good quali. We've gone for a lower downforce setup again for this qualifying session. We've sort of gone for I think it's the 4th setup. It's not the full low downforce setup. It's just one of the default choices. I don't like doing a full-on custom setup. I like to do a kind of a nice simple setup that you guys can just bolt on yourself. And yeah, so we've gone for a slightly lower downforce setup, as once again our car does struggle a little bit in the straight line speed department. We have got that major drag update, which is helping, but we're still nowhere near where we need to be. So go for the lower downforce setup. We're a little bit off in the first sector, half a tenth off in the first sector. A bit of a corner cut there, but luckily we don't have strict rules on. Just took a bit too much curb, probably cost me time if anything. We had a nice exit there. We're back to more or less level with our previous lap of 1 minute 9.214. Hopefully we can better on this one, which, well, we know we can, as that's the lap I'm showing you. Carried a lot of speed through there, but it did compromise our exit quite heavily, which enables us to actually go back down again, unfortunately, which is not ideal. But anyway, coming to the hairpin now, trying to brake late, get it all slowed down. Do that nice enough, hit my apex, trying to get a nice clean exit. Really nice there. We gained some time through there for sure. Actually getting about a tenth through there overall. So really nice corner, being really aggressive. Now, we're going to absolutely send it through this final chicane. I've decided I'm down to P15. It's not looking good at the moment for quali, so I'm just going to absolutely send it and hope for the best. We're already a tenth up. Brake so late, get it all slowed down, nail the curbs, hard on the power on the exit. DRS is wide open. We've just gained about 2 tenths through there or so. We're nearly 2.5 tenths up our previous lap. Where does that put us on the grid? Come on, there it is, P13, but actually it's P11. I don't know why it suddenly changes during these cutscenes, but it is actually P11. So let's have a look at the grid then. So we've got Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes on pole, and we've got Vettel in P2 actually. So it's a Mercedes, Ferrari, front 2 rows of the grid. Pretty tight between all those, just a couple of tenths between all of them. They've actually got an all racing point, 3rd row to the grid. Max Verstappen not having such good quality. Red Bull struggling for their straight line speed. No other penalties yet. We've got Michael Schumacher, that's us, up into P11. It's actually a perfect place to start. It means we've got a free tyre choice, but we are furthest up the grid as possible with that free tyre choice. Our teammate down in 19th. Not a great qualifying for him. We out-qualified him by about half a second or so, but we have been out-qualified by him the last couple of races, so we'll certainly take that. Now, we've got 2 strategy choices here, unusually. There's only about a 1.5 second difference between the 2 stop and the 1 stop, so we're going to be starting on mediums to give ourselves the choice, and then we can either go to another medium and a soft, or we can go straight to the hard for a 1 stop. That's going to depend on what's going on in the race. For example, if there's a safety car, so we'll just kind of play that on by ear, and we've got a spare lap of fuel and stuff, and the weather forecast is looking fine and dandy for this race. Let's go then. We've got 3 lights already. We're on the grid up in P11. Everyone around us on soft tyres, interestingly, and it's lights out, and away we go then. Axe Albon alongside us. Get a nice start there. Really nice. Overtaking Albon already. Gonna have a look up the inside of Pierre Gasly here. Yes, we are. We are indeed. We're going to dive up the inside. Try and get it all slowed down. Get it slowed down nicely. Hit our apex. Pass it. We're going to try for fly on the outside of Max Verstappen here. He gives us a bit of room. So we're going to go on the outside. We're going to go to the off-board view. And we made it 3 wide into the next turn, which is not where you want to be, ideally. Very, very tight stuff here. We're going to try and hold it on the outside. They're braking later. Managed to make the move stick somehow, just by braking later, I think, just getting our nose ahead, which enables us to move all the way up to P7 from P11 on the grid, which is great news, particularly when you consider we're on the medium tyres and everyone around us is on the soft tyres. I think most of the field's on soft tyres, to be honest. Looked like everyone that I could see behind me was on soft tyres, so I believe everyone's on softs, which pretty much guarantees that they're going to be on the 2 stop, I think. I mean, I thought that in Baku, and then Mercedes went soft hard and managed to 1 stop it somehow, but I think the tyre was a little bit higher on this one, so I would have thought that they are going to go for the 2-stop. I'm not sure about that, but anyway, we're sticking with them for now. Stroll has quite a poor hairpin there, so we managed to get nice and close. We went up to Richfield, got a little bit of overtake left, a little bit of deployment left to use on this lap. We're going to see if we can get close to Lance Stroll in the slipstream. Here we go. This is our drag reduction update. We were never anywhere near the racing points before. We're going to try and go inside here, try and outbrake him into the chicane, which they managed to do nicely. Get it all slowed down, moved on, or is it easy close behind us? Bit of oversteer, but no, he had a compromise there, chicane, because of our overtake. And there it is, up to P6 then after lap 1. That is a phenomenal first lap. That's probably one of the best first laps we've had without doing any silly dive bombs. So on to lap 2 then, trying to stick with Sergio Perez best we can, because DRS is quite powerful on this track. Skipping ahead to lap 3 then, where DRS is now enabled. Got Sergio Perez just 7 tenths ahead, interestingly. And actually, more interesting than that, Valtteri Bottas is only 2 seconds ahead of him. We've only lost 2 seconds to Valtteri Bottas since we started. So we've actually got excellent pace on this track. I think just usually a track where you can use a lot of curb, I tend to be a bit quicker than the AI, and then the opposite when you can't. I think they're just not quite aggressive enough with the curb, so there you see I'd use more curb than Perez in both of those turns. They just don't use enough curb, so I tend to be a little bit quicker than them, which is what enabled us to stick with them and get some DRS, but no chance of overtake. Moving on to lap 8 now. They managed to stick nice and close to Perez, and let's not forget, he is on the soft tyres. He's got a faster car. He's theoretically on the faster tyre, but because they're the softs, they wear out much quicker than ours. So we're going to see if we can get past him now. We're going to use some overtake ERS. This is the closest we've been for a long while. Opening the DRS. Still got overtake ERS on, really just trying to get him as best we can, such as the straight line speed of that racing point. Managed to make the move stick there on the brakes, lots of curb there. There we go, a little bit deep, little touch on the wall, but we're okay. Sergio Perez has come back at us, but we've got the DRS. There's only one detection point for these 2 DRS zones, and it looks like we're going to manage to stay ahead of him nicely, which we are indeed. And interestingly, that Hamilton's into the pits, but interestingly, behind him, behind Perez, is a couple of second gap to, actually looks like he might have pitted now. Lance Stroll was a couple of seconds behind Sergio Perez, so we managed to actually gap the field a little bit. So different to the early races in this season when we were kind of just defending the whole lap and we were sort of ahead of a choo-choo train a little bit. But this time, we've got some good pace in this race. So we've got a decision to make now whether we go to the 2-stop or the 1-stop. I'm feeling pretty good. You know, the first couple of laps, Perez, interestingly, was, well, I'm on the soft tyres. You expect to pull away quite quickly, but he just didn't. Even the Mercedes didn't pull away quickly. So as much as they did out-qualify me, I'm feeling like I've got quite good pace. So considering the 2-stop, of course, now I'm feeling better because I've got much less worn tyres than theirs. They've been on their soft, the same amount of time as me, same amount of laps as me. I'm just trying to break the DRS on Perez, but don't manage to quite do it. He has got the DRS down here, but we are now over a second away. And yes, I mean, decisions to make. We're not going to pit just yet. They're only pitting on lap 9. Looks like the two guys ahead pit, and so does Sergio Perez behind, which will enable us to take the lead of this race then. And what do? Do we pit or do we stay out? We're going to try and stay out till at least lap 13 or 14. Here we go, lap 14. We've actually got, who is it? It's Bottas is behind us. No, it's not. It's Lewis Hamilton. I'm in P1. I'm used to being in the middle of the top left graphic there, not at the top of it. But anyway, we've got Lewis Hamilton directly behind us, unfortunately, as he has been hunting us down on his much newer, fresher medium tyres. Expect him to fly past us. We have used a bit of overtake ERS there just to try and stay away from him as much as we possibly can. Going to the chicane now, getting it all slowed down, trying to nail the curves nicely without taking too much of the curve there, really, to get a cut or an extension. But there we go, that is the straight line speed of the Mercedes. I didn't use any overtake ERS there, but I did use rich fuel, and he just flew past us. I know he had DRS, but he's also significantly faster in this straight line. So we've got a decision to make now. We're on to lap 16. We're going to be pitting this lap. Which tyre do we go for? And I can tell you, we've already chosen to go for the hard tyre, which means we're going to go for the 1-stop, because I sort of think I'm still in P2. Okay, I'm getting hunted down by the people around me, but actually I'm still in P2. I'm doing okay. I'll come out sort of somewhere in the top 10, and then everyone else will have to stop again. So basically, they're going to have to overtake me in order to get their position, whereas if I 2-stopped, because I was on the mediums longer than them, what would have happened was I would have come out, well, in the same position now, but on the medium tyres. So I would have been needing to attack these guys, because now I would have had the same pit stop as them, and I would have come out in a realistic P11. So I would have needed to have some real serious pace towards the end of this race. I know I didn't have a chance on the softs, but I've just decided, you know what, no, I'm not entirely confident that later in this race I can have as good as pace as the AI, as I think I was a bit fortunate in the first stint. I think I was just happened to be quite lucky with the softs versus the mediums. So decided to go for the hards, which will give us a fighting chance of staying ahead of these guys. And actually, again, we weren't a million miles behind the guys, the sort of front pack, were we? The Ferraris and Mercedes. And again, we were losing time to them, but when we pit, we were actually in P2. So theoretically, if we can now do the same lap times as the Mercedes and Ferrari in front, who've got worn mediums, we've got new hards. If we can do the same lap time as them, theoretically, we'll come back out in P2. So I'm just pushing now. I'm going to try and stick with the guys ahead to get some DRS. That's going to help me a lot with our quite draggy car in a straight line, which we managed to do quite nicely. We managed to stick to Albon without too many issues. On to lap 21, then we've got a yellow flag up ahead. Who's that? Looks like a McLaren, is it? Yes, it looks like a McLaren to me. Who is it? It is Lando Norris. He is now out of the session. That shows a VSC, which is actually terrible timing for us because I think some guys are going to be in the pits now. Remember I mentioned we're trying to see if we can maybe sneak ahead of some of the Ferraris and Mercedes. And actually, at the moment, we've got a run on Alex Albon there. We had a much better restart than him, but put it back down to lean. I don't really want to overtake him. He's going to be coming to the pits very soon. Not quite this lap, but very soon nonetheless. Two guys into the pits now. That is Max Verstappen and Lance Stroll. So luckily, they didn't really gain from the virtual safety car. And we've got a Ferrari come out of the pit. So that Ferrari definitely did gain from the virtual safety car because he was in the pit lane doing his normal thing while we were all driving around a little bit slower. So he just gained quite a bit there. Whether I would have got past him or not, I don't know. I think it would have been quite close potentially. But anyway, DRS opened once again, managed to stick to Alex Albon nicely. And they do come into the pits. They're going to be behind us for sure. In P7 at the moment, up to P5. There's a Ferrari and a Mercedes in the pit lane. They didn't gain from the VSC because they didn't pit under it. And are we going to be able to get past the Ferrari? We're ahead of him at the moment, but he's going to get us on the outside. Yes, he is. No problem at all. Charles Leclerc flying around our outside there. We're still in P5 though, best of the rest at the moment. We've got Sergio Perez 5 seconds behind us. We're going to try and hold on to that to the best of our ability. But unfortunately, he is on the medium tyres. The hard tyres aren't terrible here, but they're not great either. I did try them in practice and I thought, well, they're drivable. You know, Baku, I really didn't like the hards. They're perfectly drivable on this track, but they are slower. I think they're somewhere around, I think it might be 8 tenths or so slower than the medium, so it is quite a substantial chunk of time. But anyway, Sergio Perez has now managed to close the gap. It's not surprising. He's in a faster car and he's got the fresher and softer tyres actually, but of course those tyres will wear faster now. He's all over us, but at the moment managed to keep it in behind nicely down that straight at least. Going down to lean, we're just trying to conserve everything we can. And I haven't actually mentioned our engine. We've got a really worn engine for this race. I think I did briefly show it in one of the previous clips. I forgot to mention it in the commentary, but our engine is seriously worn. The internal combustion engine and the turbocharger in particular. This will be the last race we're using, which will mean we have a brand new engine for the next race, which is around Austria, the Red Bull Ring. And I feel really great around the Red Bull Ring. Every race, AI race I've done against there, I've not done the career race as I'm commentating this at the moment, but every race I've done around there, I have been really quick. So we're putting in a brand new engine, hoping for a really, really excellent result there. But anyway, we've got Sergio Perez all over the back of us now, and actually he's using some overtake. He's going to fly around our outside there. Absolutely nothing we can do about that. We're going to try and dive on him in here to see if we can stay ahead. Lock up the inside tyre, try to get it all slowed down, but no, the hard tyre's just not giving us the grip we needed. He just managed to get the cut back on us there, and nice and easy stayed ahead of us. Unfortunately, he is also going to get some DRS, but we'll take the slipstream. I don't think we'll be able to get back past him, not without burning all of our ERS, and I don't really want to do that. We'll see if we can somehow stick to him. He has had a few laps on the tyres, but no, unfortunately, he does manage to pull away. Now, we are on the penultimate lap of this race. We have got the guys behind very, very close, Lance Stroll and Max Verstappen. We are now unedited till the end of this race. You are going to see every second of this race as it is so incredibly close to the cars behind. They're just half a second back. We've got 2 whole laps. That's, what is that, 1, 2, that's 6 DRS zones left to try and defend from these guys. This is not going to be easy, but luckily their tyres are also quite worn. Our tyres aren't too bad. I think they're about 30% or so off the top of my head. Maybe she's approaching 40 now, but I expect those guys are approaching 50. But they've got the softer tyres, so they are still faster. They're also in faster cars, particularly Max Verstappen. We're just trying to keep it nice and simple. We've negotiated 1 DRS, so we've got 2 left to go. Lance Stroll is very close behind us. He's using a bit of overtake, just like his teammate did. Going to try and fly past us, but we're not going to have that. We're a bit close to him there, but actually went quite deep there once again on the marbles, just trying to get the car rotated as best we can. Nice clean exit, hopefully. Yes, nice exit there. Up to overtake ERS, up to rich fuel. Lance Stroll is still very, very close behind us, but luckily it looks like he's not using any overtake because he's not really gaining on us there. But with his DRS and his superior straight line speed, we haven't got much overtake left to use. He's going to be alongside us, but we're going to try and dive on him there and stay ahead, but we should manage to do nicely. That chicane, you cannot go too wide through there, so we had to back right out of it, and that's given us a nice 1 second buffer, but we've only got 8% charge on our ERS, which is not ideal. We need to recharge that as much as possible. I can pretty much guarantee you they are going to be all over us, and in fact Max Verstappen's attacking him, which could slow each other down, but no, he's got through quite cleanly. Unfortunately, Max Verstappen is now ahead of Lance Stroll, so we have now got the faster car in Red Bull directly behind us. He is 1.3 back at the moment, which means he's not going to get DRS in this zone, which is going to help us, but you can pretty much guarantee he is still going to get some DRS by the end of this lap, because they are going to be significantly faster on us. We're on very worn hards, they're on very worn mediums. There's me asking the driver behind to see how many laps his tyres have done. Let's listen in.
They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 13 laps old.
13 laps old. That is pretty worn. His tyres will be about 50% worn, so they are pretty worn. He's only 6 tenths back from us now, though, so he has got closing quite a lot. He's definitely going to get DRS for the final DRS zone. There's actually going to be 2 DRS zones for the line. Going to try and get a nice clean hairpin. That was pretty good there. Nice clean exit up to Rich. We've got just enough fuel to get to the end. Overtake ERS. We're going to not have much charge, but he is 8 tenths back. I think it's actually quite unfortunate that or fortunate rather, that the Red Bull behind us is not great in a straight line. That enabled us to just use enough deployment modes to stay ahead of him. Try to have a nice clean final chicane up to Rich with using the rest of that ERS for the run to the line, but it's going to be nice and easy to take P6 in this race then. P6, I tell you what, we've had some unbelievable finishes for the last couple of races. We've somehow managed to score some really solid points. We're not just, getting P10s with 1 or 2 points. We're getting P5s and P6s lately, and it's absolutely mad. Our car is not capable of it. We were having some really nice races that's enabled us to take the positions, and see that our fastest lap is actually only a second off the best, and we're only 30 seconds off a Mercedes car. So our one-stop strategy was really effective. You can see that everyone else did do the 2-stop, and our teammate not even inside the top 14, unfortunately. We are now starting to train up our teammate a little bit. We are also trying to improve our car, of course, so hopefully he'll have a few points to help us out in the constructors. But before we look at the constructors, let's have a look at the drivers championship then. And there we go, confirmation of my results. So we've actually had 3 races outside of the points, which for a car that's not still actually only the second worst car, round 8, for us to have only 3 races outside the points. We've had a 7th, a 5th, a 7th, a 5th, and another 6th. Really strong performances there. I'm really happy with that. As I said, we've got Austria up next, which I'm really hopeful for some really good results. There it is then, 40 points. And look how close that is in the Constructors' Championship. 4th to 7th is covered by just 5 points in the Constructors' Championship, and that is really important. We need to maximise our Constructors' Championship position in order to get the most money possible for next season, so that is going to be really critical. We've got a couple of updates coming to the next race. We have got another little drag reduction update. We've also got a couple of little downforce updates for the next one. As I said, we will be backing in a brand new engine, and I go really well around Austria, so hoping for somehow an even better result. I don't know what to expect because that was already a mega result, but hopefully we can somehow have an even better result next race. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, guys, and I thank you for watching. Bye bye.